Hey everybody, what up? It is Scuff D here, and today we're gonna do ourselves a little Kharn action, because it's time. It's time to step it up a little bit, and with further ado, let's get into it.
My love for you is like a truck berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker?
That's from Clerks, a little berserker action. I could actually play the actual song, but you wouldn't understand lyrics. It's a little bit gruff. All right, so here we go. As you can see, I've been playing with Ingo Peck in practice mode, changing up my deck here. So let's talk about a profile here. So it took me a while to figure out what deck to talk about, what warlord to do. I went back and forth on doing a Sons of Horus one, whether it was Loken or Torgadon. And honestly, I feel like I could do Torgadon, but it's either rare intensive or epic intensive, or it's just too familiar for people who are newer, who maybe are just tired of playing Sons of Horus and they're looking for something else. So in your general evolution of the game, if you're starting out and you're a new player, most of your best options to branch out with here, we're going to go with Garviel Loken is who you start out with. Maybe you do Abaddon, Tarvitz, Garrow, and then you're looking for how do I evolve. You've got Erlin and you've got Kharn, the world leaders, and those are normally going to be your first warlords that you're going to venture into the foray with. And then depending on your cards for the various legions is going to kind of help dictate how well you do, as well as what your choices are. Kharn is one of those ones that you can do well because he's very straightforward, as we've discussed with the World Leaders card pool. He's very straightforward. You don't need a lot of World Leaders cards to make him work. His ability, let's take a look at his ability right now. So reminding again, Bloodthirst, which gives him the ability to attack twice each turn, and then he has a random, after attacking, deal 1 damage to a random unit. Could be him, could be another unit on your side, could be the opponent's. It's not guaranteed. That's the random factor. That's the drawback of playing him. Now, he doesn't have to attack each turn. That's just each time he attacks. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Now, this deck list here, this is an older one, so I'm going to have to go through here. I'm going to have to make some changes. As you can see, I've got Strike and Fade. It's a common. Deals 1 damage if target dies, draws a card. Works perfectly sometimes with Kharn when he pings somebody and leaves them at 1 health. Melgator is not a common, but that is a staple. As soon as you get one, put it in there. Now with Kharn, because he's a face warlord, he's going to be attacking. You want as much healing as you possibly can fit into the deck, which is where Kardak and some of these other cards that you'll see come into play. Kardak, heal 2 to your units. Use it. You're going to need to use it repeatedly. Sometimes it benefits, sometimes it's just for Kharn, but it doesn't matter. Seek and Destroy is a common. Normally, if you're starting out in the game, you'll have access to these at this point. This is very useful for dealing with those higher health troops that you want to get rid of, or frontline troop. Slurn Squad, I'm going to take these guys out. These guys worked at a time when the enemy warlord attacks, draw a card. They're not as effective. They're passive troops that kind of sit there, and there's more card options in terms of drawing cards at this point in the game. So I'm going to trade Slurn Squad for something else. Sweep and Advance. I've only got one of these in here. I might put a second one in here. +3/+0 to a friendly troop. Goldstone Hunters. That's an epic. That is a hard one to get. If you don't have it, you could do some other cards here we'll take a look at, and I'll kind of point out some other recommendations for lower tiers of play if you don't have some of these cards. But 3/3 can easily become a 6/3. Unstoppable, good card to have. Jubok, there's no reason not to. In this deck, it doesn't hold anything against him. An extra card's an extra card. You got these guys here. They heal 3 and they remove stun. That is important, especially with an aggro warlord. If he's stunned, he can't do anything, and he needs the health. So there's a double thing there. Serric Land Spears are your, I don't want to say the go-to, but they're the evolution. If you don't have these initially, these 4/2s, one good card that you could put in here, and you should have, is the Crashed Bikes. You start off with these guys. They're not fast. They're 3/3, but if your opponent doesn't do anything with them, they're going to hit for up to 6 potentially. But you gradually will replace them with the land speeders right here, which is the same cost, but they're more effective. Don't burn them out right away. Sedition's Gate, I've got 1 in here. I might put in 2, but I've got a lot of other random damage in this deck, and this is a rare. You have to destroy a randomly friendly troop and a random enemy troop, so it's useful, but you have to time it right. You have to play it right. Brawn Vets, these guys are good. They're your rare equivalent, your upgrade to some of these other troops here. Probably you might start off initially playing with like Barsk Squad, and if you can upgrade to Ron Vets, then that's the way to go. Artillery Strike. Now I've got 2 in here. For a while there, early game before the first expansion came out, I was running 2 defensive satellites. Artillery Strike is 1 less cost. It does less damage, but the damage is, it's known, it's not random, and I kind of want that factor known in if I'm going to be doing splash damage, if I'm going to be randomly hitting people, and it's cheaper, so I've opted to go with that. Lork Squad. Now these guys are good. I might put another 1 in here. I might just leave it as a 1 of. These guys they're 4 cost, so they're a little, they're that mid cop, but they're a 3/4, and they're unstoppable. And then if Kharn's damage hits them, it's gonna go somewhere on the opponent's side. If it's just their warlord's gonna take it. So I like having them out there in the event. It's a way to kind of keep the damage off of my side of the table, or at least take it and reallocate it. No Survivors is like a Artillery Strike plus. It does more than Artillery Strike, and then in addition to that, if it kills anybody, it gives Mark of Chaos to my friendly non-demon troops. I've got 2 of those in here. These are epic. I didn't have these for the longest time. You could probably replace those in there with some other random damage, defensive satellites, or maybe even, I don't know here, breach wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, maybe a time melt-a-bomb, but that takes too much time. I would probably go with breached as probably the best next go-to. All right, let's take a look at the last couple here. Rounding out Wraith. Wraith has seen some hard times, and he's kind of on the fence. If it works out and you ping him right and everything works, that's great. He's got Berserk right now with the Secret Orders out. That's kind of a liability to us to some degree. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to leave him in there for right now. The Routh Landspeeder, Cleave 3. It's a good, solid 4-drop. Argus Brawn. Can't disregard that guy now. He's your big, heavy closer or scare beast. Basically he's going to make people want to get rid of him right away as soon as they can. If you don't have him, there's some bigger cards to kind of throw out here. Armor of Mars is, if you're looking to do a Kharn deck, it's your number 1. Like, you must have this card. You may not play it every game, but you need the healing. You need as much healing as you possibly can, and it comes into play. Conqueror, I'm actually going to get rid of Conqueror. I'm going to take out Conqueror in this build, and you'll see as we've gone through everything here, all of my stuff is really cheap. I mean, we're talking cost 3, cost 4, and Kharn games in general tend to go. I'm going to swap it out for Merciless. Kharn games in general tend to go very quickly. Even if you're facing like just a face warlord versus a face warlord, you're just going at 4 times 35, 8. So by turn 8, the game is over, if not sooner. So getting to an 8-drop, that's just kind of like, it's not a guarantee. Having the Merciless in there is not a bad option. It does damage to everybody, which can give you a draw at times instead of a loss, which is not a bad thing. And then also it can draw you cards, and it does 3 damage, and that's kind of significant. Late game, turn 7, that could be the difference between a win or a loss. So I feel like let's take a look back up here. I've got 2 spots to fill still. Now Keth bikes. Some people like Keth bikes. I've shied away from Keth bikes since the Raven Guard came out. Whether it's because Korax can stealth them, or there's just too many 1 damage splash effects. They're not a good trade-off. They're a good burst thing, but there's better things out there. I could go for a second Sedition's Gate, and with the orders, that might not be a bad thing to do. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a second Sedition's Gate. I've got a lot of damage. I would like a second vehicle here. And I'm actually thinking about it here. Now, they've got a lot of 3s and 4s. Let's take a look at the cost curve of my deck. Boom. It is really cheap. It is a really cheap deck. It's a fast deck. There are card drawings in there. Not as many as some other decks, but that's okay. Don't want any of these high-cost cards. These high-cost cards in a Kharn are not worthwhile at all. Even the 5 cost, you're not going to get as much value out of it. 3s and 4s are where you're looking at. Now, if you're playing a lower tier here and you don't have access to some of these cards, you want to consider Frontline. I was running Epsilon Row for a while there, and then, oh, you know what else I need? Gotta have Manifest Destiny. That is probably your second must-have, and this is not a World Eater legendary. It is a neutral legendary, but I mean, it's 5 extra health, and it is the difference of a game. So I'm actually going to put that in there in place of one of the speeders, or in place of one of the Sedition's Gate. Let's go. I'm going to take it in place of one of the speeders, just to go that route. It gives you Survivor 5. That could be critical. But if you don't have that, you want yourself some Frontline. If you don't have some of these higher cost cards, Mortar Strike is really good. It still is good even here. Like if I could tweak some things out and take out some less troops. Sometimes it's great to just attack a guy with Kharn, finish him off, take 3 to your face. If you know that you can play Mortar Strike and it's going to hit the opponent's Warlord and deal 5. You're taking 3, they're dealing 5, and then maybe even your 1 random damage is going somewhere. It's not a bad way to go. It's not necessary in all the time, and then maybe that's even better than Merciless, but I'm just kind of in my head I'm thinking with regards to like stealth troops for Legion Airborne, Raven Guard in general, it's probably best to have something that can affect all of those. Mortar Strike is nice, but it's random. Let's see here. So some frontline troops are good recommendations. Maybe the Angron. I would probably shy away from the Angron. Ornithor's Barge, if you've got it, is not a bad idea for here if you've got low troops or low frontline, but it's only going to be good in certain matchups. Other than that, you're really looking at a couple frontline troops to preserve your momentum, maybe abandoned supplies to speed things up depending on what other cards you've got factored in there. I don't want to put abandoned supplies in here just because I think everything where it's at right now is, I mean, it would benefit me, but I'm losing something at that point. I could take out Lurk Squad, but I'd rather not. I'd rather have an unstoppable troop in here. So with that being said, I think that's kind of the thought process. If you're going neutral, I would stay away from anything over cost 5. Maybe as a one-of for a Kharn deck. You're just not going to be able to play them as much. Your cheaper cost guys, your 4s, even Delta Omega is not a bad option if you're early in the game and you don't have a whole lot of cards. They're not bad. They deal damage, and they're a 4-attack troop that your opponent has to deal with rather than attacking Kharn, which buys you just a little bit more time. So that being said, it's not... Let's see what we got here. We got 16 tactics, 14 troops. I feel okay with it. So let's just go ahead and do a couple practice games here, and I'll kind of walk you through or talk you through some of the matchups here for Kharn. We'll probably do 2 games, maybe 3. They're going to be quick games. Kharn in general is a quick game. If you enjoy playing the game quicker and you want to get a little bit more out of it, maybe you're kind of burned from playing a little bit medium paced with Loken or Sons of Horus deck, and you finally get that urge or the ability to buy a Kharn and you can do it. You're going to play a little bit faster. You're going to lose faster, or you're going to win fast. That's just the nature of it. Your very obvious hard matchups, the most difficult ones, if you ask me, are the direct damages. Looks like we're going up against a bot here. Yeah, are going to be your direct face warlords. I think to this day, and even with the nerfs and the changes that they've done, I'm gonna keep those two. Just because I kind of know how it's just a bot. I know what they're going to play. I just want as much health as I possibly can. Yeah, so we're just going to go face. I'm not going to, he's got a drop pod, doesn't bother me. Angron, I think to this day is probably like an auto win. It's still an auto win. It could be like if you're playing a bot or an unknowledgeable opponent, maybe you could like just barely scratch out a win, but just by Angron's ability and Kharn's ability basically being relegated to a nothing effect. We're just gonna go ahead and get rid of. Yeah, we'll go ahead and pump him up. I'm probably playing soft because I'm trying to think 2 things at one time, but Angron can just do more damage, just straight up. There's no way to get around that. Even if you shut off, if you throw more troops out there, it doesn't matter. He's gonna do more. He's got more health. He's got the exact same cards that you. He's just running at a faster pace. That is probably your hardest, if not your most impossible victory. I think, I don't know how many games I've played of it, and so if I eat 4, if I eat 6, I can do 5. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because I'm being silly. I ate 7, but I'm gonna do 5, and now I've got the board. I would not suggest doing that. Another one, maybe Fulgrim. Fulgrim's pretty close. I've done it. You can beat Fulgrim. You got to get rid of those troops. Even with the Changers build, like his troops are going to be his main go-to. So here we're going to go ahead and heal. We're not going to attack because now we're behind on health, but we're going to make that change up real quick here. And I'll go ahead and attack once. Always attack, and now that we've got 1 health, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to make him make an action. Don't attack if you've got somebody at 1 health, because unless you're going to use them first, it just is not a good idea. That's there you go. The bot's actually using its brain for once. That's nice. Trying to think here. Some other good matchups. Who are some good matchups with some bad matchups? Anybody who like Erlin can close the gap pretty quickly. Erlin can close the gap pretty quickly on Kharn just by the simple fact of paying 2 energy. He's not doing energy. He's not taking damage. He's just dealing straight 3. And again, he also has the World Eater card pull, so he's got at the same pace. So that can be a very close game. You don't have to attack with Kharn. You don't have to. It's not a bad idea. Now here's where I've got 5 to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that with the 7. It's not a bad idea to attack if you can and do damage, but it's not required, unlike Angron. So I can finish this game out next turn right here with just Merciless. Nice. And just like that, see, we're at turn 8. Game done. And that, granted, that's a bot, but it's very straightforward. It's very, very abrupt. It just does damage. Take damage, deal damage. Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. Look at there, right there. Woo! Skulls for the skull throne. Mm. Who are some other tough matchups here? Let me think. They're playing Kirby downstairs. I don't know if you can hear them in the background, which is one reason why I'm supposed to be able to talk a little bit louder. I don't know if that's making a difference here or not. If it's just my voice, just my pitch, just my microphone. I've checked all the settings. I know I've had some people mention that you have trouble hearing me. I am just talking at my normal voice at this point, so it could be the mic if you can't hear me. I wouldn't say Loken's a tough matchup. You got a little bit edge on the health with him, although the Sons of Horus cards are pretty strong. Raven Guard can be a big match. They've got the ability to do the burst damage, the additional damage with sentence. So games against Raven Guard have got to be very quick, which is why I've got some additional. So we're playing Erlen here, and it's a bot. Well, we'll see. Just as a bot, his bot deck is pretty merciless. So let's prep for that. Raven Guard are very fragile, which is why I've got the additional splash damage stuff out there. It's necessary because if you can't deal with that, if you can't destroy what they have in stealth, then you're gonna take a lot of damage real quick. If you're newer and you've got some frontline stuff on there, that's great. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and heal my guy right now. Take advantage of that. Help close the gap. Seize the gap. If you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, seize the gap, you old cow. You old cow. That's a great show. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do this. And I like to put, if I can, more troops out if they're not going to die. I like to put them out just to help disperse the odds of that random damage hitting Kharn. I don't mind if they hit my troops. I really don't care. I just don't want them to hit him and take more damage than I should be taking. Another good matchup here. So I'm not going to take that 3 to the face so lightly. I will, however, do this. Because he's going to get, this bot deck in general is going to spit out more frontline stuff over and over and over again. So I've got to hit him while I can, and while I can build up some big stuff, and then I'll heal my guys. That Goldstone Hunters could become critical. Ooh, nice. Trying to think some other tough matchups. Tough matchups. So at this point, now we're playing a different game. All right, well, let's go ahead and reduce your ability to draw too many cards. And I'm sorry if I'm all over the place here. I'm playing the game and I'm trying to think of specific matches. Tarek is a very hard match. His Sons of Horus are just difficult in general. He can generate those cards and just do more. So this is where I would like to have, and I'm not going to attack. I'm just going to sit back here. Lucius could be. He has the ability to spit out some pretty fast damage right away. Maybe the Iron Hands if they get the momentum going. But if you've got like a Gabriel Santar deck that is got the double servo arms going, or a Ferris Manus and he's gone into Reckoning and he's healing a ton, then yeah, you're gonna have a hard uphill battle there. Even if you've got Armor of Mars and multiple healings, that's just a hard fought battle. That's a hard fought battle to overcome. Oh, that's gonna hurt. I don't have a super vehicle destruction stuff. I would look for a Sedition's Gate if I could get it, but what I might have to go for is a little bit of this. As you can see, I mean, we started out with 5 points more, but it's a very close game here, very close. And this is with the bot deck. This is what Erlen bots do. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other major. I mean, you don't have to attack every single time, but well, that's gonna be game. That, that was a bad move. That's not something a normal player would do. But thank you for doing it. Thank you for doing it, sir. Um, I'm trying to think. Let's just take a look at the warlord list and spark my mind to see if we've got anything. Yeah, it's so straightforward. So really, your hardest matchups are going to be guys who can put up a wall. Latara Saren, I would want to say, could be a hard matchup, but her access to the cards for the neutrals right now is really what's holding her back. Ornitov actually has a better chance at that. Ornitov's ability, number one, to start with more energy, to make a front line out of any troop, and then to also generate a random Imperial troop if he doesn't have one on the table, is better than Latara's ability. Even though she can make just a front line 2-3, that's dealable by Kharn quite easily, and it doesn't do anything, doesn't put anything else on the table. Ornitov, you could actually put a beefy troop on the table and then give them front line in addition to their beef, and it's one more obstacle to overcome, especially late game. Those two are not bad options. They're not great options. Medusan is not a bad option because Kharn has to attack. Medusan can give sneak attack to his guys, and they're dealing damage, and you've got to come at them at face. So it's not an even exchange. It's a one-sided exchange. And then again with the Iron Hand cards, is it a guarantee? It's going to depend on the draws. It's going to depend on what Kharn draws, what you draw as a Kharn player. You've got to go for those fast attacks. You can't have anything sitting down. Numian, I think with my Numian deck, I don't think I've ever lost to a Kharn deck, and that's saying something because it starts out early on with some light troops, and usually he goes after them and kills them off. But then he has to dedicate extra attacks because they have Survivor. I can give them Survivor, so that's attacks that he's not putting on my warlord. He's putting on his warlord on my troops, and therefore I win. Forex is okay. And I've got a couple other warlords here that you can't see because we're out of deck slots. We need more deck slots. We need like 18 more deck slots easily. He can spit out a barrier each turn, and then the Iron Warriors in general can get pretty gnarly, but it's a close game. It's a close game, and it's not a given. It's not a guarantee, although it is nice on both sides. Kharn can do Merciless for a draw, and you can do Viral Bombs on the Iron Warrior side for a draw. I would say probably, though, your hardest matchups, hands down, which we're not pictured because I don't have them, is Angron. Angron is probably if you can beat an Angron best 3 out of 5, then you have mastered something, because that's climbing the mountain. That's the Everest, really. Fulgrim is a tight game, but it's doable. Korax is a very hard game. Korax is your hard matchup because he can hide from you when you don't want him to, when you finally want to do your damage, and then he can let his other guys do damage, as well as the burst with the Raven Guard Centist effect. Maybe even Garrow could be a pretty tough match. The current iteration of Garrow can heal a ton. So while you're attacking and doing damage, and you think you're doing damage, he can just recover most of what you've done. And while you have healing on your side, Garrow has more. Garrow can just do it more. He is an army of one. He is a legion of one. That being said, Typhon needs some improvement. Typhon doesn't do it nearly as good as Garrow, and then he's the epic. So let's hope that Typhon gets some changing. Mortarian's not pictured here. I have him, but I haven't done a deck with him yet. He might be, just in the fact that he can stun Kharn or stun most of your bigger heavy guys. The problem with with doing that is obviously it only buys a little bit of time. He can spit out some high frontline stuff. Death Guard have got some high frontline stuff. but you still got your fast attacks. You still got your Sake land speeders or your Goldstones or woo. Ooh, what's going on here? Get out of here, Bixby. Get out of here, Bixby. What is going on? You dropped the phone and everything goes crazy. Let's get this back here. Hang on. Apologies. Technical difficulties resolved. No, back. What the fuck? What the fuck? Mortarion. I don't even know how I switched to decks to an Arlen deck. How did this happen? Kharn. Yeah, Mortarion could be. I don't know. Death Guard have got a good heal thing, but I think it could still be a close game unless the stun locks just really are brutal, and they end up getting double endurances, and you don't get your healing off. It's a close game. Kharn keeps it close. Honestly, I mean, especially in this day right now, people are testing things out with the new Alpha Legion cards. They're testing things out with the Iron Warriors still. We're about to see the Night Lords here in about 5 days. So it's kind of a mixed bag. You're getting some frontline, you're getting some vehicle, you're getting some non-troop builds, you're getting heavy troop builds. Regardless of it, Kharn keeps it tight. And if you're looking to elevate to the next level, and you have a decent amount of World Eaters cards, or even if you have just a couple of the key ones that I've pointed out for Kharn, you can move faster. You can either at least play faster and get your wins in, or you might get more wins in consecutively. Again, going through some of the older videos, I talked about Loken. Obviously started out playing. Then I moved on to Tarvitz for a decent while. Same win rate as Loken, but it was nice to play something new. Then I picked up Fabius Bile as my first Epic Warlord. Did okay with him. Didn't use his ability at all. This is way back when if I used his ability, it was like a late game. I don't care if it stuns. It just is going to buff this frontline dude. Got Garrow. Never used Garrow. I still have played a couple games with Garrow. I'm missing about two key Death Guard cards at this point in time. I have everything. I've moved on. I don't like the feel of it. I'd rather play Salamanders than I'd rather play Death Guard. I mean, honestly. That's nothing against Death Guard. It's just a different mindset. That's why I enjoy playing Raven Guard. I kind of enjoyed playing Kharn for quite a while. After I got Kharn from Fabius Bile, I stuck with Kharn all the way up until High Mars from, I don't even know the plant rankings anymore. I want to say Prospero through High Mars, and then I got a Fulgrim in a crate, and it was Fulgrim all the way until Raven Guard came out. Even though I had all these other guys and I played all the events, I mean, that's still is probably my top one or top two. And then I got Korax and Raven Guard and Vulcan and Umian, and the game has evolved since then. But Kharn is he's your step up. He is a good step up. He's a big step up. He's not the step up, but he does it for you. So if you're hesitant, if you're thinking about it, give it a try. If you've got a Kharn deck and you're thinking there's some stuff in here that why isn't it working? Take a look at what you got. Let's take a look here. And again, keep in mind, this isn't the perfect. There's various ways to play it depending on what you've got. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legendaries in here. Understandably, not everybody's got these. The only one that you need to have is Armor of Mars. For Kharn, you do. There's just saying you don't. For a while there, I had Gorefather in here, Gorechild in here, and that was before the first expansion, and it was kind of a pinch. It was like if you had it, you don't play it unless you knew that it was going to swing the game. Otherwise, it was just a dead card in your hand. And where the game is at now with the cards I've got, I didn't have 2 Goldstone Hunters. I got those and they replaced that because they were immediate success, immediate for 3 that I didn't have to attack with. That was an addition to my attack. The No Survivors I didn't have before initially. I was running with defensive satellites, and that's kind of a gamble. The Artillery Strike was new. I replaced those. So it's a work in progress. It's always a growing thing. It's never going to be perfect unless it's perfect for you and how it plays. But you do want to keep in mind you're on a clock with Kharn, whether or not you're attacking or not. just by the nature of the deck and his ability, you're playing faster. So having too many cards over cost 5, even over cost 4. I mean, three to 4 is your sweet spot. That's really where it's at, unless it's drawing you more cards. You can put in the scouts, some good cards to consider. These Drask scouts are not bad. You can get rid of them with a Sedition's Gate, and you're drawing a card to replace the card, and it's a 1. So for 4, you're destroying a random enemy troop, and you're drawing a card. That's not bad. Barsk Squad is a good starting card to have. Stole Squad's okay as a start, but you'll elevate from there. Sweep in advance. See, I didn't put a second sweep in advance in. Do you need to? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what you've got, really. If you don't have enough troops, or the troops that you have, you're not finding or punching hard enough, consider it. If you don't have, there's a lot of rares here. There's only a couple commons that I've got in the deck, and they're neutral for the most part. So just keep that in mind. It depends on all the different levels of play where your Kharn is at, but he performs just the same at all levels of play, which is really good. I mean, if you've got the cards to take him to the next level, he's going to do just as good there as he did before, and pretty much with the same results. So, anyways, that is it. That is Kharn. I only got bot games in today, but just kind of keeping it short. We're at the Sunday before New Year's. This will probably be maybe my last video before the year's over. I might do another one here. Night Lords are coming around the corner, so we're definitely going to be taking a look at that. I've got 9,000 gold saved up, and either I'm buying it on Night Lord crates or the extermination crates, because that's 90 extermination crates. That's a good buy. That's a pretty good deal. I like that. Yeah. Got some tickets. We got events going on. Might do some more decks, but this could be it. This could be the last 2018 video. If it is, then we'll see you next year. If it isn't, then I'll see you tomorrow, because tomorrow's the last chance to do anything. Other than that, guys, take it back to the Kharn deck. And again, this is just a sample. You can get the same advice probably from most other people, but you gotta kind of. I hope it taught you something. I hope it gave you some understanding as far as why to play, what to play, why some cards are better than others. It's not perfect. Again, it's not perfect unless it's perfect for you. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching. Keep playing Legion, and we'll talk to you the next time. Bye. I said bye.